Welcome to Astraea. I finally got around to doing my Nether portal. My Nether portal for the longest time was essentially this. This isn't mine, but it's not too different from what I had going on for a year. I mean, frankly, a year is coming up in 3 days on this server, and this is what my Nether portal was on the Nether roof, embarrassingly enough. So I decided to do something about it. This is my first organic build. I think it turned out absolutely fantastic. I'm extremely proud of it, but oh, I don't know why I just took random damage. It is a giant snapping turtle. I just took a bunch of photographs and just kind of created it using Axiom in Creative. Axiom just basically helped me do the texturing. The actual block placement and everything was pretty much freehand. I didn't trace over any photographs or anything. I just kind of like eyeballed it and just went for it. The reason it's a snapping turtle is because the name of my island is Mikinak, which is an Ojibwe Native American term for snapping turtle. Originally designed this guy to be on the edge of the island, kind of coming out of the water. It just was so large. I just built it way too large. And it just didn't look right. It just did not fit the theme of the island. So I figured what better way to use it than right over here on the Nether ceiling as basically a wrapper from my Nether portal. So I just stuck a portal in its mouth and, you know, Bob's your uncle. Yeah, but I'm very, very proud of how it turned out. I think it's really, really cool. As you can see, it basically goes from deep slate through tough into stone as a texture, and then up into dirt. It goes through a couple layers of dripstone block and rooted dirt in order to transition a little easier than just the stark contrast between dirt and stone. I still wanted that contrast. I still wanted to kind of look like a natural cliff face. So the lore is maybe this turtle came from the overworld and got stuck in the Nether and then got mutated or something. I don't know, something silly like that. But right now it's getting pulled into the Nether from the Nether ceiling into the Nether. If I have any complaints about it, the one thing that I think I need to work on still is terraforming around it so it's not so out of place, and possibly, if I have the courage to do it, is to bust out some of this bedrock around the shell so it kind of looks like it's falling into the void of the ceiling. And I know there's new ways of breaking bedrock that include like some redstone kind of contraption that deletes basically the bedrock. I've removed bedrock before in the old school way with the 2 pistons and the TNT and everything, and that's a crapshoot. Like either you kill yourself or you go through pistons like nobody's business and what have you. And it's super time consuming. You got to build it once for everything. So if this new way is as time saving as I've heard, I might actually go for it and just try to remove all the bedrock, at least a few bedrock layers all the way around the shell. So it kind of looks like it's falling into or climbing out of the Nether ceiling. But that is the only complaint I have. Everything else I think turned out really, really cool. This is the spawning platforms for my Pigman game, which is basically Pac-Man in Minecraft. After I finished this structure, I went ahead and tested this, and the spawn rates really do not get affected whatsoever. I think it's because zombified piglins do not spawn in a soul sand valley. It's only skeletons and gas. I think endermen spawn at a very, very low rate as well. But essentially the rates of any spawns in soul sand valleys are fairly low. It's just not affecting the rates I have on just this small, you know, kind of gold farm-esque spawning platforms. I haven't had a gas spawn yet. Spawns usually favor lower Y levels. As you can see from the montage, though, if you're watching the montage, I did have quite a few skeleton spawns. There's probably skeletons right now scattered around. I am definitely going to either spend time removing the bedrock or at least terraforming around, adding some cliffs and little mountains and stuff just to make this guy blend in a little bit better. We do need a name. Calling him Mikinak is fine. I think a name would be kind of fitting as well. Some of the things that the montage doesn't show, I added a little pop of color via, what are these called? Warp roots, I think. Is that what they're called? Warp roots and the Nether sprouts. So this like little pop of cyan. I thought it was basically the design was looking a little too monotonous. So I just wanted to get a little bit of a pop of color, and that blue or that cyan I think is a really good choice for that. I also add firefly bushes, which I'm sure you've seen a little bit of the sparkling here and there, for particle effects. So if anyone finds themselves like wandering around up here, they'll see little particles of the fireflies floating around. And if you've got a real keen eye, you'll see, yeah, here's some of the dark particles, not the soul sand stuff, but the actual green darker particles. So that is from, I always forget what these things are called, those flowers, these guys, the spore blossoms, I believe. So yeah, you'll have spores. Right here is the most prominent particle area, and that's because I hit quite a few firefly bushes as well as the spore blossoms. Geez, I cannot ever say that. Spore blossoms. And all the candles and stuff like that, which give off a little bit of particles, not to mention the nether portal itself, which obviously has a lot of particle effects. So I really think it turned out good. I also hid a lodestone right here at the tip of the jaw for wayfinding at spawn. There's a bunch of compasses to mark each person's base, so I popped that there. One quick mention too, I also obviously did this tent. This tent is the same design that I did for the gaming district. It's just a different color scheme. So I went the monochromatic black and white color scheme to fit the nether roof a little bit better. Here, let's just head into the gaming district really quick, just so you can see. I think it's orange and white essentially. Is what I have going on in the gaming district. So this is the original design. The only real difference is that I don't do the lead trick. So essentially I have boats underground here and connected to leads and then to the fence post to give it that kind of tied down appeal. I didn't do that because I'd have to, again, break through that bedrock in order to pull that off. So I just didn't get around to it. It's a lot of work, you know, to get through the bedrock. Of course, I am going to experiment with that new system, so we'll see. I might actually take that on. Priority one, though, is around the shell, and then if that turns out good, then I might actually add the boats and the fence posts. All right, so that's it. Let's get back to the base and work on a couple more things. I'm frustrated with my storage facility in one way that I'm going to fix today. I have to take stuff out of Shulker's before I put it in that little input chest right here that I'm standing on. Let me take you into the noodles really quick, just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. I already ripped out a few hoppers, so the system is broken right now. Please don't mind my mess. This is also a completely undecorated area, and the reason it is undecorated is because I knew I was going to do some modifications to it. So yeah, right now it's just a stone hole in the ground. But as you can see, all these hoppers are connecting each module, each station where the copper golems are sorting through the 6 chests, and then they drop it into an overflow chest, and then it goes into the next station, next station, next station. So the actual main input chest is right above me. That's the hopper pointing down. I'm going to create a whole machine that's probably going to have to be fairly deep into the ground. Maybe not that deep, maybe 6 blocks or so into the ground. That is going to take shulkers and regular items. It's going to separate the shulker from the regular item, empty the shulker, break the shulker, and then kick that back into the flow of regular items. You know, all the stuff that it emptied as well will flow into the regular items. What am I even talking? Why am I talking? I'm just going to do it, and then I'll show you how it works. this is my first test. I just put the Shulker separator unloader system in place. I'm gonna pop a couple items into this input chest. So I have a Shulker with 6 ladders and a tough slab. It's gonna be fairly quick, I think, so I'm gonna have to try to like free cam it as quickly as possible after I put them in here, so bear with me here. Hopefully it works. Okay, Shulker's placed, busted. Ladders are coming up, Shulker's coming up. I think the slab is already up. All right, he probably already had, I would assume he already, okay, maybe not. Where'd the slab go? Uh-oh. Where'd the slab go? Okay, he's got the ladders. I don't think he would have picked up the slab that quickly. Oh, man. Okay, let's go down into the noodles and see if we mess something up. This is the dispenser for, or the dropper rather for, oh. There's the slab. So the slab didn't get separated. Let's see here. So essentially what happens is items get dropped into this dropper, and then this little circuit fires. And this circuit is set to 2 ticks and wraps back around. You see this kind of torch, and then this observer sees the torch and powers, this block right here powers both of these droppers. So we have a dropper here and a dropper here. This dropper tries to force items into this Shulker, and Shulkers can't go into other Shulkers, so therefore they drop straight down. The items that can go in end up going down this hopper line into this dropper, which then circle up and down. So for some reason, the item dropped right through here. So maybe I'm missing a component, or I don't have the proper delay on something. Let me see what's going on. That's empty, so we're good there. I did have a comparator to facing the wrong direction, so earlier, but I think I fixed all of that. All right, let's just try to put a stack of like stone in there. All right, let's see what's happening here. Yeah, they're getting cycled down there. Why would they get cycled down there? This is the Lightmatica schematic I have on. Okay, for some reason, they're getting pushed into this, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely not how the system is supposed to work. All right, what did I do wrong? Are one of these like a dropper that's not supposed to be a dropper? No, both droppers. Am I missing a torch anywhere? No. Torch here, torch there. All right, I'll look at this for a bit and then get back to you guys. Okay, I created an entire, multiple games in this blocky game, and I don't think I struggled as much as this stupid little circuit here. I had to rebuild it like 2 or 3 times. I did borrow, I think it's Tinker 77, a design to separate the Shulkers from the items, Shulker boxes from the items, which is a fairly basic mechanic. You see the Shulker box right behind me there. Essentially, that dropper's trying to force items into the Shulker box, and Shulker boxes can't go into other Shulker boxes. Therefore, that fails, and then they drop down through the hopper. However, because I'm not only doing that, here, let me get out of that view. I'm not only separating the items, I'm also unloading the Shulkers and then returning them to upstairs via this water stream. I just kept on running into problems. Most of it is because I was trying to make this as compact as possible. If I wasn't so particular about making this compact, I think I wouldn't have ran into so many problems, because what ended up happening is I was powering droppers when I shouldn't have been powering droppers, locking hoppers when I shouldn't have been locking hoppers, and so on and so forth. Nonetheless, we have it functioning. Essentially, items come down from a chest into this dropper. The dropper is powered by this clock. there's a delay right here of 2 ticks. So essentially this clock not only powers this dropper, but it also locks this hopper. So items can't just funnel straight through. And that's done right here, this little piece of redstone dust. This being glass was critical because I had this as a full block, which was accidentally powering this dropper prematurely, thus ruining my empty shulker system. So essentially what I want is to be able to dump shulkers, whether they have items in it, whether they're empty or whatever. I just want to dump all the stuff into this system, and then the system will parse everything out, filter everything out, and then pump it up into that water stream right over there for the golems to sort as they see fit. Nonetheless, this was a full block and it was powering this this dispenser. And this dispenser is actually what dispenses the shulkers to be unloaded or to be instantly broken. And therein lies the struggle with this system is I have it so it will wait if a shulker has items in it, and it will wait before this piston extends and then breaks it. But if they're empty, this circuit right here, which has an 8-tick delay, which is not needed now that I discovered that, I can turn this back to 4, but nonetheless, will wrap around and then unpower this torch, which does a monostable circuit right here, and then powers the piston. So basically, if the shulker is empty, they're almost immediately broken and then send up a water stream. But enough of the talking. Let me replace that repeater with a redstone dust really quick, and then I'll show you how the system works. Okay, we're back. So just a regular redstone line now, 4-tick delay, which is probably not fully necessary. I'm just going to leave it as is because the speed of this little circuit isn't that important. Here I have a shulker with 32 items, 2 empty shulkers, 32 stone, and a redstone repeater. So I'm just going to dump this stuff in randomly. See, there's the shulker. It's emptying right now while the items are already flowing up the water stream. You can kind of see right over here. So both the items that are loose and the items that are ejected from and then these two get instantly broken. There you go. Now all items are slowly making their way up, and that's it. So now the golem has all those items, and you'll see the golem, he's already filtered one out. Let me go check his chest right here. Yeah, so here's the 3 shulkers. I'm just going to steal them. And here's the 32 stone and the redstone repeater. So there we go. That's it. Fully functioning. So I can just dump anything I want into that input chest right behind me, and it will immediately cycle items. Like, let's just do these 3. And you'll see. Whoop, I did not mean to do that. Any second now. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Cool. That's what I wanted. And now these guys are just filtering or sorting all the stone that I just dumped in the system, but they'll be done in no time. Again, this is not the fastest system by any stretch of the imagination, but that's not what's important. What's important is the convenience of being able to dump items and then have these guys sort through in their due time. So I'm happy. I hope you're happy. We're all happy. What am I on to next? I am going to build out a super smelter. It's not going to be huge. It's just going to be an 8-furnace super smelter. You see this pot and that barrel behind me? I'm going to have one of them be the input and the other be the output of the furnace array or super smelter. Everything is going to be hidden underground, just like the sorting system. Basically, I'm just building out some infrastructure that I've been really wanting since I joined this server, and I'm finally getting around to it. It's like a year later, but we're going to have a super smelter. It's going to be great, and it's all going to be hidden. I'm also going to do a tunnel from my bamboo farm, which you can kind of see right over here. I'm going to do a tunnel from over here, basically take the bamboo planks underground and use those as the fuel for the super smelter. Stay tuned. we wrapped up our super smelter. It is fully functional. Which one did I do now? I'm getting them backed up. I think the chest is the input and the barrel is the output. The only thing I had to do different in this area is add this lever. So when this lever's on, the system is off, and when the lever is off, the system is on. Let's go back and down into the noodles so you can see what I did. Obviously, you saw my Shulker unloader system. If you just follow this room over into this corner, you'll see I dug a hole for the super smelter. So originally I was going to do 8 furnaces, but how the fuel lined up, so basically this up here connects to my supply of bamboo planks from my bamboo farm. This hopper minecart will fill up, and then after it gets to a certain quantity, which I think is 24 or something like that, when it gets enough bamboo planks, this piston compresses, and then the hopper minecart will funnel through here and then fill up all the furnaces with fuel. How it lined up, basically, it just made sense to do 12. So I have 12 furnaces in the array, which is not too shabby. I mean, that's enough for me. And then this is the meat of it right here, as far as the brains of the operation. All the furnaces have hoppers beneath. They funnel into a dropper, and then that dropper is connected to an observer clock, spits out all the items. They float up this bubble vader and then go into a dropper elevator. The reason I went with the dropper elevator is because I wanted everything to exist under the floor. So that was a way for me to kind of hide everything. Everybody knows what a super smelter is. Basically, the top is for items and the back hoppers are for fuel. So basically it gives you a chance to utilize multiple furnaces at once. I think the footprint is exactly what I was looking for. A very, very simple, you can't even really see the hoppers, you know, basically it looks exactly like it looked prior, except for this is no longer a pot, it's now a chest. You put items in here, they go down into this hopper chain here, into this chest of the minecart, which is connected to this lever. So as soon as I turn this off, this line goes on, powers this powered rail, and then it goes back and forth until all items are into the furnaces and then smelted away. So that's it. A lot of infrastructure. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. That's it for the episode today. One thing to note, I currently am streaming most Mondays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. However, I'm considering changing the time. I've noticed that all my European friends, it's a super late time for them. 6 o'clock my time, which I'm in the Eastern time zone of the United States, is what, 11 o'clock GMT? And then it just gets worse from there. So Central Europe, it's like 1 o'clock, you know, it gets pretty late. I'm thinking of trying to take my lunch hours. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if that's something that you would be interested in, or just continue what I'm doing and then hope for the best. Let me know your thoughts again, and see you later.